And we are live.
Yay.
Hello, everyone, to the Gato and Gabe podcast, or G&G podcast. We talk about whatever we want. I'm Gabe, and that is Gato.
That's me.
So this week we're going to be talking about... last week we talked about having, first time marriage. Gato was talking about his experience. This week we're going to be talking about my experience as a first time father. So thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments, and we will be paying attention to that.
That's right.
Hello, everybody. We are on podcast number 3.
Are you listening to us right now?
That's my wife in the back. She's
Uh,
watching the stream as well, so you might hear some echoes.
yeah, that was funny. Um, yeah, so as I'm getting ready to go into marriage, and you've been married for how long again? 2 years?
2 years now. Yeah, yeah.
2 years. Um,
So it seems natural to have
yeah,
kids.
to
Yeah.
have a kid by now. And so what has that been like?
Oh
Like,
man.
okay, this is what we're calling, I don't know if we can say this, like a baby that was conceived during a certain time.
Like a honeymoon type thing or
Oh,
no?
no, 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 no. It's a quarantine baby.
Oh
That's what it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is.
No, yep, yep. So our son Zeke was born on 4-3-2-1, which is great. But yes, he
Very
is a
nice.
quarantine baby. So it's
Yeah,
crazy how that's
there's,
a term now.
I know it's funny though, because I was talking to Amber last week, I think, and we were just talking about how many, or maybe it was like a couple of nights ago. We
Yeah.
were talking about how many um posts on Facebook she's seen of people posting about their newborn babies. Like, so there's all these kids being born, um, like this month and the month before. We actually have an acquaintance that had a kid on the same day as you.
Oh yes, I saw that. I saw his story.
Yeah, so that was really interesting because I had no idea that was, well, like I knew she was pregnant, but I didn't know that the babies were due around the same time. So I think it's a great date. 4-3-2-1. It's
Right.
super fun. So
Now it's funny because of COVID, there's been so many, like you said, there were so many posts about babies and you didn't even know, because you haven't had a chance to like see pictures of people, or their wives being pregnant or whatnot, and all of a sudden you just see babies springing up everywhere. So it's kind of crazy.
okay, so it's been what, 2 weeks now since you had the baby?
Can you see my
How
eye bags yet?
actually no, I feel like I have
More than me.
bigger.
No,
Yeah.
he's been really good actually.
Yeah.
Um, he's been sleeping really well through the night. And some people have told us, like family members have told us, that by now this is when it starts going crazy and he won't be sleeping as well. But he's been fine.
Yeah.
And she's been really great with taking care of him,
Like
like
on
at
top of
nights.
it.
Yeah. So I mean, hats off to women and wives just taking care of babies. They take most of the work down. So, I mean, I remember reading a lot of uh, soon to be dads having this fear of like feeling useless because majority of the time the mothers are going to be doing all the work, like the feeding, and so you're just there like, what do I do?
Well,
It's like I don't.
you provide the chocolates.
Yeah, yep. So
You
I
bring
try
the
to help.
chocolates.
I try to help, here and there, diaper changes and laundry. So it's kind of like a shift. She's done all the house maintenance stuff, and now she's switching on to the baby. So I'm trying to like help take care of the maintenance stuff, like laundry and all that stuff, cooking.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good compromise, to be honest. I think as long as you're both helping each other out, I think that's what matters the most.
Yeah.
Um, But you mentioned something that it's something that I've thought about for a long time because I've been wanting to have kids for a long time. I got to the point where I wanted to adopt because I was like, I'm getting old. I'm never gonna get married. I'm like, I'll adopt or something, right?
That's very
Um,
good. Noble.
but but so I have a hard time with puke and with poop. Okay. But it's funny because I have a problem with human poop. I don't have a problem with animal poop, which is weird. But I can handle animal like pets, you know. I can handle their poop just fine, it's a normal thing for me. But I remember with my niece and with my nephews, if there was ever any poopy diapers, I could not handle it, and I would just start gagging. And at one point, I almost threw up. You know, being near my sister-in-law, like changing the diaper. Uh, but I hear that when it's your kid, it's different. That I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's an instinct that overtakes that smell or maybe I don't know. But what
I,
do you think? Have you changed any diapers yet then?
oh yeah, I've changed a range of them. It's crazy because I actually missed the whole the black poop. So I don't know if you know this, but
The
like,
black poop.
yeah,
What?
because it's crazy. It's stuff you learn when you're pregnant and doing a lot of stuff that in the amniotic sac when the baby's in there.
Hmm.
I mean, they're not eating or they're just getting fed through umbilical cord, right? But they're practicing
Right.
breathing. They're practicing, their motor skills and stuff like that. So in that process, they're actually eating and recycling their waste inside that. So they're eating they're eating their surroundings and then letting it out and then they're eating it. So
I mean, it makes sense,
right.
I mean, technically speaking, I guess as a I don't sure like I in a way it's a beautiful thing, you know,
Right.
that as humans that are not born yet, like our systems are able to like do that. Like it's weird. It's mind
No,
blowing, but
it's so crazy even thinking that he's totally fine inside there, not even breathing oxygen. He's breathing like water and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden now he's out and he needs air. It's like it's crazy how the body just like switches from like being inside water containment to
to
outside
like
air.
being out, and now
Right.
you actually have to poop.
Yeah. But to answer your original question, so yeah, pooping. I missed the whole black poop portion because that was like in the first couple days, and as she starts feeding, it starts becoming normalized. It's yellow, but yeah, there's a color transition.
We go from black to yellow.
Yeah, so it slowly goes from like black and then brown and then yellow. There's like a whole.
Wait, isn't brown the normal color?
I think it's because the currently, the baby's just eating milk or whatever. Um, life. It's crazy, but yeah, it's weird. I haven't gagged or anything. That I just they it's like this weird instinct of like I don't really care because it's your child. I remember because when Brittany, she works with special needs kids, and we would take some kids out and then have them have their day, and
Mhm.
they would have changed diapers, and this one kid's poop was like so stinky that I started gagging inside the car. So having that preface, I was thinking going into fatherhood, I was like, oh man, can't handle poops, can't handle smells, but it's been good
Yeah.
so far. I haven't had that gagging reflex yet.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's probably one of the things that I'm like more afraid of is that when it comes to it, I'm afraid that I won't be able to handle it. Like I said, people have told me that when it's your own kid, it's different, and that your mind, mind over matter, I
Matter.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
sounds
like
right.
it overcomes it, but I'm still afraid that it's gonna come to it and I'll be like, yeah, I got this, and then take the diaper off, and it's kind of, So, um, well, good for you for not having experienced that yet.
I'm
That's
sure
awesome.
once he starts eating regular food, that's
Wait,
gonna
so
be so.
are you saying that you're able to handle the smell, or are you saying that it just doesn't stink?
It's not bad. It's not like, I mean, when we poop, our poop,
Yeah,
I know my poop stinks. Some,
I no, I don't like mine. That's disgusting. I remember the transition from, like when I was a kid, I didn't think my poop smelled like at all. But whenever my parents or an adult went to the bathroom, I would always like get that hint of poop smell. I'm like, oh, it's disgusting. It's gross. I remember the transition when my poop started smelling like that. And now I'm like, yeah, I have the adult poops now. And I don't like it. I do not like it.
oh man, no, it's different. I think right now maybe it's part of it is dad instincts and the fact that he's not eating regular food yet. So that's my
Oh,
guess.
good. That's great.
There,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, to even more. I mean, to make it more crazier, I guess you could say, is that there's some, I don't know if you've seen like home videos of dads in the operating room during delivery, and then seeing all the blood and passing out during delivery.
mhm.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I've seen some of them.
And I thought I was gonna be that. I thought that I didn't want to watch because it's just gonna make me faint. I'm just gonna be too. I don't know. There's a craziness with like with violence. In movies. It's fake.
Yeah.
Right? Final
Yeah.
Destination, all that stuff. And then, but then I see blood in real life, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just get so queasy. Like I remember
Really?
I was like in DC, and we're walking on the sidewalk or biking, and then I saw this ambulance pass by, and we kept walking, and I saw like a puddle of blood, and there was like some chunks in there, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I started getting really queasy, and so for some reason my brain knows like the difference between like
Yeah, between
reality,
fake blood and
right?
real blood.
So I was
Um,
thinking delivery, I was gonna be like, okay, then I won't handle it, but I actually wasn't too bad.
so you were there during the whole process.
Yeah,
Well, that's.
the whole process.
I feel like. I mean, that's normal, right?
Yeah,
Um,
like helping out or
just being there doing. I don't know, and that's the thing is like, so you're there, but are you there as a spectator or are you there as a helper,
I
or
thought
like, like,
I thought I was gonna be a spectator. I
okay,
actually
but
ended up participating.
so what did you do? Can I ask that? Like,
So you help with obviously, and in some cases you be a coach and you help. You help your wife's like, oh, remember your breathing, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. But I was like one of the nurses, like holding her legs up and stuff like that, just like helping with the delivery. Like it felt like they were short staffed, so they were using me as.
really?
That's what it felt like. But I mean, at the same time, it was great because I was part of the process.
That's great. You got a
Yeah.
temporary diploma.
Oh man, but I was really surprised that I didn't faint. I didn't like get queasy and all that stuff. So
But yeah, I feel like the fainting, I feel like that comes more from like comedy movies.
maybe,
Like
yeah.
when we see it in movies or TV shows, I feel like that's just to add that dramatic effect. It's like, oh, this guy cannot handle it. But I mean, and I don't know because I've never really been in a delivery room, but I like when I think of me being there, I don't think I would faint. I think I would just be too distracted by everything else to even like think about it. But yeah, I don't think I would faint. I think it's just like I would just be there. But then again, I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know if I would be getting my hand crushed or my hair pulled or if I'm gonna be on the other, like I don't know. Like I don't know if I have to sign up for it. It seems like they just pulled you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were just like, all right, I'm gonna need your help, husband. I was like, okay. So I'm just like, but it was
Um,
great.
did it take a long time? Like,
I think. Oh man, it was a quick labor. I mean, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I remember hearing the doctors and nurses were like, wow, it's going really quick, going well. And so it was like ideal, I guess. From their books, it sounded like it was like the ideal type of delivery. So
Well, that's good.
yeah,
I've heard the stories of some of them going for like 12 hours or more.
yeah. Oh, I mean, it was crazy because we were there a long time, and the best thing was that there was a Harry Potter marathon going on. So it was like
Nice.
we were watching like the whole thing, which was great because she loves Harry Potter, um, and I think he was born on Deathly Hollows Part One. No, Goblet of Fire, I think. That's
Is
how I
that your
measured.
timeline?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was funny because I was
Is that gonna be on the birth certificate like born during Goblet of Fire?
Harry Potter marathon. It was funny because I was like texting family. I was like, "Place your bets. What movie do you think he'll be born in?"
Nice.
It,
Uh, so the movie was playing in the background as everything's going on.
we muted it then.
Oh, okay.
That would have been crazy.
That's fun. That's hilarious. So leading up to this point, how did you prepare for it? Like, I know most people like read books. I know some people don't do anything, and I know, well, I that's it. That's all I know. Like, but is that what you did as well? Like, you just watch a bunch of YouTube videos and read books?
Pretty much. Like we set like Monday night to be like the baby prepping. And it's cool because with COVID, yeah, there was so many resources online. Like we were able to take a child birthing class on YouTube. So there are like 4 parts to it, which was great. They explain everything. That's why I like, and then you read stuff online. That's how I learned about the whole pooping and eating inside the amniotic sac stuff and all the things to expect. Because I was the type that I was just like nervous. There was moments when I'd tell Brittany, I was like, I don't feel like I'm prepared. I'm nervous because there's like a lot of unknowns. Like I don't know what to expect. And generally that's how it is, but that's how I just prepared YouTube and articles.
So, wait, you said that you were in a class,
Yeah, it
like an
was
online class?
just YouTube. So I think they had
Okay,
like these child classes and they just recorded it.
gotcha. I thought it was maybe like a live class, like a Zoom meeting or something like that.
That's what I thought too. I
Um,
yeah.
because if that happens to me and they ask about black poops and stuff like that, I know I can raise my hand and answer it confidently.
Oh
Oh,
man,
that's
there's
cool.
so many stuff you learn about. Stuff you don't even like fur. One thing that I learned was like babies have fur when they come out. I forgot the medical term for it, but there's like
Okay.
fur. They have
Oh
like
yeah, no, no. I feel like I've heard that before too, and it
yeah.
falls off too, right? Like that's
Yeah.
why some babies they seem to have like a ton of hair, but then a lot of it falls off.
Yeah.
And I've also heard that so skin tones change and eye colors change.
What? I don't know.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, apparently like babies can come out with like really dark eyes and then they'll just lighten up and they'll turn like blue or green or something.
Whoa.
Now, don't quote me on that. That's just something I've heard. I
Huh.
don't know if it's true,
Uh,
but I feel like I've heard that from multiple sources, and so I, I don't see that as, or I mean, I can see that as being true.
hmm.
Um, Plus, people's eyes change all the time.
I'm surprised how those. There's some people with like blue left eye and then right green eye. There's even a
That's
medical term
so
for that.
cool.
I don't know, but that's so
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't know what it's called, but I've seen a lot of people that have that,
You
and
hear
then
the
they have
crying in the
their,
back?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
I've seen people that have the two eye colors, and then they adopt pets that have like the same
oh
thing.
yeah, I've seen those too.
And I
I've
think that's kind of cool.
speaking of color change, like uh, I mean, I already knew it going into it, which was great because I would probably would have been shocked. But like they come out blue, like the babies come out blue, and that's because they don't have oxygen in their system yet. They're not breathing yet. So like if I hadn't known that, I would be like, is our baby dead? I would have been so shocked. Oh
What's
man,
wrong with them?
right away. So that was good to know. So there's like things that was good for me to know beforehand. But I mean, I feel like at the same time, if I didn't, I think I would have been fine too. So depends if you want to be fully prepared or not.
Yeah, no, I think I'd like to know when the time comes for me. I feel like I would like to know all the little things that people don't usually think about, uh, like the black poop stuff. Like I'm glad that I know that now. It's funny and interesting. Um, but yeah, I think I'd like to know like the things that not everybody knows or is prepared for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That way, if it happens to me, I'd be like, oh, well, I know what that is. I know
Diapers.
that it doesn't mean that my baby's going to be furry.
It's crazy. I mean, they make jokes in the child classes where like, oh, it's gonna come out like a werewolf, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. It's like, oh, don't worry, it's gonna fall out. But I remember, oh, diapers. That's what I was gonna say. I didn't realize how much diapers he goes through.
Really?
So, like, I remember like during our baby shower, and people brought us diapers, and I was like, oh, okay, we're set for like 6 months. That's how much diapers I thought we had. We went
Yeah.
through them in 2 weeks.
Wait, so they're gone
They're
already?
already gone.
Oh, okay. I got you. I'll send you some. Just let me
Yes.
know. Let me know the size. I got you. Have you looked at? I don't know if this is something you can do for like newborns, but
Hmm.
have you thought of the washable diapers?
Oh yeah, yeah. We, I think when we talked about it, we for sure didn't want washables. Those are just,
I mean, it's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
weird, right? Kind of gross. But
Yeah, you're putting poop in your washing machine.
or you can hand wash them on the
I think
dishwasher.
some people do that too, and I think uh yeah, that's like, yeah, that was that was a crazy one. I didn't want to, we didn't, and I see some people wanted to do that because, it's environmentally friendly, save
Hmm.
money. And I
Yeah.
think there was a YouTube video that talked about uh the savings costs and all that stuff, and I think it was like marginal or something, but it wasn't a very scientific study. Oh, we have a
I hear
comment
I hear
from
babies.
Amber Anderson here saying, I didn't know their belly buttons come off. I was about 10 and watching my sister and it fell off and I thought I broke her. I called my parents stop it. Thank you for that. That was great. Yeah, that was one of the first things I learned actually. Is that their belly buttons fall off.
But is it? That was really funny. Is it really the belly button that falls off, or is it the dryness of the umbilical cord
The
that
umbilical.
just?
Yeah, this is what was like crazy to me too. It was like, so when so you cut the umbilical cord and there's like a little portion of it left and it just falls off. It just I don't know. Your body just knows to say, hey, I don't need this anymore. I'm wondering if it's like a connect from like the placenta and all that stuff, and the moment it's cut off then it knows to like get rid of it, or I don't know if when the baby starts
It's weird.
breathing, and I don't know. It's just crazy how that.
Bodies are weird, man. I
Yeah.
mean, ugh. Did you get to cut the cord?
It was funny. I kind of like was debating because that again I was thinking I was gonna be like super queasy, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna faint or whatever, but it was like totally fine. It was like a snip. That's it. And
Oh,
then
really? So it wasn't like like rubbery.
it was. So I imagine it like a bike chain,
Sorry.
right? And it has that plastic cover around it.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, cutting that would be hard. And a lot of fathers I described, like you have to like kind of cut it multiple times.
Ugh.
But it was totally fine. For mine, it was just one snip. So I don't know if maybe like other fathers out there just had like dull scissors or something.
Maybe it's just them being nervous, and so they don't want to
They're
like.
like,
Yes, it's like, yeah, you got to go at it multiple times, otherwise it's not gonna cut.
I guess it
That's
was,
weird.
yeah.
It's weird to think about because like hearing about it, like yeah, it makes me a little, it makes me cringe a bit. Um, but when it comes to like gross stuff, when it's happening in person,
Yeah.
I actually find it interesting. Like like when I got stitches on my pinky, and they had to like inject me with like the what do you call that thing that makes you
Like
numb?
anesthesia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they injected me with that, I was like super interested. I'm like, I want to see you being like all the nurses are always like, you can look away, you can count, you can say something, tell me a story. And I'm like, no, I want to see this. And so I don't want to say I enjoy it, but I get really curious and I like watching it, even though it's being done to me. And then I saw them like sewing my pinky up, right? I don't know if you knew, but I kind of like sliced my pinky, like
When did that happen?
8, 9 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I broke a tall glass when I was trying to like wash it, and when it snapped, um, yeah, the glass just kind of like sliced part of my
Eee.
pinky, so I had to go to the to the Instacare, and yeah, I got 7 stitches. You can still see the scar. I don't think the camera can capture it, but yeah, I got it right there. But yeah, so I had that and I was like really into it. I got surgery uh, up here on my kind of like above my abs and then on my arm. And so they had to like cut me open and had to pull stuff out and then sew it back up. And I was just like, I want to see it. Like I'm genuinely interested. And so I hope that when it comes to having a kid, that I'll be curious enough that I'll just be fully like focused and I'll be able to help.
I
Uh,
think you would. You seem
so
like
that's
the.
my hope. But it's funny because like when I hear you say things like this, like cutting the umbilical cord,
Yeah.
I get really cringy. And when I see stuff in movies, I also get a little like ooh, like I don't like it, even though I know that's fake. And when it comes to real life, it's not as bad.
E- Yeah, I can't explain it. It's like in movies, obviously, like they're always using like older babies. It's like funny because now we're always every time me and Brittany are watching movies and they have a baby scene, you're like, oh, that's like not even that baby is like 1 year old or 6 months old. It's like a giant baby that always with like full head of hair and they just
Like
like
that came out of you.
and they sprinkle like stuff on it to make it look like it was coming out, but it's just I don't know. I think there's part of it that the full father instincts just kicks in. You're just in the moment. You're like not even caring about all your queasiness. You're just like, all right, how can I help? And I think that was part of my focus was like, how can I help? How can I calm? And I was like, I felt bad sometimes because she was in pain and oh man. So you kind of forget about yourself and you just like think about the other person.
So you still have a pretty good memory of everything that happened that day.
Yeah.
Like it's not a blur like your wedding day.
No. Yeah, wedding day blur. This one was pretty clear. I think it was because it was slow paced, so my brain was ready to like process everything. But when it happened,
And
it was like,
Harry Potter's playing in the background,
yep,
so
perfect, perfect.
hard to forget that, right?
If you ever have a baby, try to plan it when a marathon is going on with your favorite movie.
We'll bring Harry Potter. Amber loves Harry Potter, and she got me into it, and we'll
You
do
weren't into it
that.
before?
It,
Actually, no. To be fair, yeah, I wasn't into it either
it's
before.
not that I wasn't into it. I just wasn't into it. Uh, I had enjoyed it. Like I was familiar with the movies. I'd seen all the movies at least once in the movie theater.
Yeah,
Um, and I've seen the first two or three like multiple times because they're always on ABC during Christmas time. But I hadn't read the books until like 2 years ago. I started reading them, and then my goal was I'll read one book and then I'll watch the movie. And so when I met Amber, it it was I was kind of in the middle, and so her and her family are like way into it, and yeah, so she was really excited for me to be reading the books, and she wanted to watch the movies with me, and then we actually read the last two books together. think it was the last two. Maybe it was just the last one, but like it was a great experience. So yeah, I really got into it. I finally understand the story a little bit better, and I am definitely a fan.
Books better, I'm guessing, than the movies as
Yeah,
usual. Okay.
understanding more of what's going on in the movies, it was really awesome. Also, I feel like the movies were like chopped off so much from what the full story is in the books. Uh, Even though they're like 2.5 hour long movies, but it was cool knowing what was going on behind the scenes when things are happening in the movies. I'm like, oh, I understand why the focus is on that item, or I understand why that person's doing that or saying this or whatever. So that is cool. Yeah,
Hmm.
I really enjoyed
Yeah, I
that.
never read the book, so
Oh, bruh.
I know I'm one of those guys. I just don't like reading. But
Do
I'm
audiobook. That's what
sure
I did.
I know. Oh, okay. All right. I guess you can count that as reading, right? But I'm sure I'm gonna start reading now. Now that I have to read stories to Zeke for bedtime stories. Now we have all these books. We have like a whole shelf full of books to read to him. And so we're still trying to figure out like a routine now because we're reading. There's just so much information out there about how to raise your kids, and it's like confusing at the same time because there's mixed saying, oh, do a routine where you read a book to them before going to bed, and then we tried it and it didn't work, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah. No, I mean that's good that you're looking at your options. I think it really has like it depends on I mean on both of you,
Yeah,
like as parents and also figuring it out for the kid because what may work for some parents is not going to work for the others, or what works for one baby doesn't work for the other. So I think it's a game of adapting to what's working the best and then go from there
for sure.
instead of like finding something and saying like this is it, this is the way we're going to do it and no other way.
Yep.
That's when you get a rebellious kid.
Yeah, and that's
I
that's
don't know. I don't know that. It just kind of seems like it, but I don't know that.
that's always one of my fears raising. I mean, right now it's just like the infant stuff where you make sure he's fed, warm, all that stuff. But
Mhm.
as they
Yeah,
grow up, you're
let's not get
like,
ahead.
I'm like, yeah, I don't want to worry about that yet. But that's like one of my fears of like, oh, am I gonna be a good parent? Am I gonna
I
coddle
think
him
you'll be a
too
good dad.
much and stuff like that? Thanks, but we'll see how that goes.
So, what do you do? Like, what's your new routine now that you have a kid? I mean, you said that your kid is sleeping like same hours as you.
Yeah, it's pretty good. At first, he'd wake up like 4 times a night, need a feed, and now it's like probably once or twice a night. But during the day, it's like every 2 hours, every 3 hours, he needs a feed, and then naps. So he's like sleeping 20 or 16 to 17 hours a day,
Oh wow.
and so you have like these little pocket of time to like do stuff. You know how we were talking about like last week. You know how chores and fitting gaming while you're still married, and so it kind of like changes that in a sense where yeah, I still have time to game, but not as much. And that system we have, we're still trying it out. Where every Wednesday night we had our own me time. So
Hmm.
I would have my gaming night, and she would have like a girls' night on Zoom or whatever. Now, obviously, can't we both can't have our me time, so we're trying to figure out like me Wednesdays and then her on Thursdays, so we can still have our time because I think that's still important. You still have time for yourself.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how that works. It's
Yeah.
all new to us, new territory.
I mean, it seems like so far everything's going well. I mean, you haven't texted me like, "Hey, not right now. I'm super busy. Get out." At all. So I'll take that as a good sign as everything's going well so far.
I think,
Uh,
yeah, part of it is the ability to have paternity leave, and my work's been very like really generous with that. So
yeah, they have.
I think, and I think that's something that should be, reemphasized still. That I think there's a movement or something I heard where paternity leave is like just as important as maternity leave or parental
Hmm.
leave, whatever they want to call it now. But
Yeah, no,
it's been good.
I heard that too. I heard that there's a push for. I know. in Europe. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's like Finland or Norway or one of the I don't know if it's one of the northern countries or like more like Germany or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
paternity leave is like it's like super important, and they like give you like paid leave and stuff like that.
That's good. Yeah.
And whereas here, what is it that we get usually like
It's like 2 weeks or
2
something.
weeks and
Yeah.
that's it? I'm like, yeah,
Or
that's
like two
definitely not
months
enough.
even, which is like still pretty generous, but
But is it generous or does it just feel generous because most people give you 4 weeks?
I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
uh, but I am happy for you for your job. It's giving you so much time
Yeah.
for you
It's
and to take
great.
care of your family.
I mean, I can't even imagine working right now, given the schedule that we have. Like, I'm sleeping pretty well, but like he's waking up and crying because we have him in our room in the bassinet to like, and that's the whole thing about SIDS. I don't know if you've heard about that, sudden infant death.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like a thing where babies will just die. And it's like, it's unexplained, but can be explained at the same time, but they don't want to place the blame on the parents, be like, hey, your baby had the blanket in there and it suffocated to death, or
oh,
it like went on its belly and then it couldn't breathe or something like that, and so they distribute to SIDS or something like that.
oh wow. I had no idea about that.
So anyway, we have
That's
him in our
scary.
room just till he's has his motor skills to like turn over and he can like save himself from suffocating. All
Yeah.
these other stuff. Um, but on that tangent, I was like, I'm waking up in the middle of the night, but I can't imagine like waking up the next day. It's like, all right, I gotta go to work because I'd be so tired. Like
Yeah.
my brain, like my work requires a lot of brain power, so I'm exhausted by the end of the day. And by the end of the day, I need to like help Brittany with like baby stuff.
Hmm.
So I can't. It's just I can't imagine working. So to fathers out there that don't have that parental leave, that's like, man, that's there needs to be that push, I think.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point. And I think you're a good example of like, or you will be a good example of the benefits of having uh more time as a dad,
Yeah.
and showing how important it is for the baby and for the wife and for yourself as well. I mean, I feel like we as adults, as we grow older and we just keep working, I feel like we already get burned out from work. I mean, I got burned out from work, I mean, over the last year. And to the point where I'm like, I would wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to go to work. Like, I don't have that capacity, like, I have to push through, but it gets to that point where it's hard. And so put that and then put a baby on top of it, and then you only
Oh
get two
man.
weeks off, 2 months off. It doesn't seem like enough time. So,
Right? Seriously. And that's
but
like you're missing essential years that your baby needs, to bond with, the father as well as the mother. Um, there's this one YouTube video, or I guess there's this guy. His name is Gabor Mate or something like that. And he's like a
mm,
parent expert. He works with a lot of addicts, and he attributes to a lot of what they're going through is because of their childhood drama or trauma. And so
mm,
there's video, I should probably send you a link later, but like totally changed my insight on like raising kids. Like he was talking about how like the first like 4 or 3 years or 5 years, 3 to 5 years are like the most important. Just being there for them. It's not so much being like actually having one-to-one time with them, but actually being around them. That gives them like comfort, gives them like trust. They can trust the environment and all these like subtle things that I was like, holy smokes. And then he talks about like devices and social media, and it's like, oh man, there's like a lot of good
yeah,
quotes. And one he was talking about was, um, if they're we're living in a society with like
we live in a
so
society.
I know I just caught myself saying that. But with social media, like if they're not getting acceptance from home, then they're gonna search that acceptance from like peers and all that stuff. And I was like, holy smokes. And like something about devices, creating addictions at young ages. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, my kid's not gonna see a
Yeah.
phone ever, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
he's gonna be playing with mud and sticks and stones outside.
No,
Oh
I
man.
I think about that all the time. But the way my brother and sister-in-law have raised their kids,
Yeah.
it's I feel like they raised my niece the best. She was the first one, and I feel like she got the right experiences as she was growing up. But now technology is just so easily available, um, that I can see how my nephew is starting to get that attachment to technology.
Yeah.
Where I mean, he's 6 years old, but he craves the phone. You know, he wants to go on it and like play Roblox or something like that,
Oh
or
yeah.
he wants to watch YouTube videos and whatnot. And I'm like, I'm like and that's gotta be tough though, because I mean, I'm sure that as a parent, you know, you get to the point where it's kind of like, okay, if that's gonna shut you up, like here you go.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important to give some more like uh, focused time to your kids, to the point where they're not like, well, since you're not giving me attention, then I'm gonna go to the phone. So I think spending time with them is very important,
No,
and I
that
think that
yeah.
comes back to like having the time to be able to do that. I
Yeah.
mean, even later in life, you know, like when they're 2, 3 years old, 4 years old, uh, to have available time for them.
No, I agree. Like it was yeah, I mean this video I was talking about, like it's like 30 minutes long, but he was talking about the exact same things you were talking about. Like you take the phone away from like an infant and they start crying and wailing, like that's a sign of addiction. Like they're already exhibiting addiction, which is that's scary.
Wait, but I cry when I don't have my phone.
Uh-oh.
No, just kidding. Uh, no, dude, it's funny because I just got a new phone.
Yeah.
Uh,
I saw. Yeah.
yeah,
GME,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That's right. Hashtag GME stonks. That was great. But so I got it, and yesterday I spent like some time like getting used to like the new way, 'cause you upgrade your phone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's still like I don't want to discredit like the fancy new phone and whatnot, but it's like meh. You know, like I keep leaving my phone here and there, and then I'm like, oh, I feel like I haven't gotten like any notification. It's like it gets weird. It's like I haven't gotten any notifications, and then I'm like looking for my phone. Like I don't know where I left my phone. Like it's because I left it in my room, in the
Yeah.
bathroom, like not in on the toilet, but like on the by the
You
by the
wipe it,
sink.
right? You sanitize it after?
I do actually, but I just do that anyway. But yeah, and that gives me a little bit of, I don't know, makes me feel good that I'm not like always attached to it. But at the same time, when I'm out with people, I feel like I am on it more than I should. I don't know, man. Technology is weird. Phones are weird.
I know. I mean, it's one thing. I think it's adults. It's adults and phones, devices. That's a whole separate thing. I think when it comes to kids, it's like
They don't need it.
they can't handle that stuff. Like an example he was giving was like you don't give tobacco or alcohol to kids. So
You
why
don't?
give them devices? You don't? Oh well, yeah. So I mean, it's like in that same sense, they're just not ready for that stuff.
So in your from your research and your feelings, like
Yeah.
when do you think you'll allow your son to use technology of his own?
I don't know. I don't know because I'm like I'm going back and forth between like what he's saying, that one guy, and then trying to figure out my own version because I mean, I did grow up with video games. I grew up with, and that was like a good bonding time with my brothers and my dad. At the same time, like looking back, we were inside most of the day, and it was my parents that were, or my mom was like saying, you should go outside and play.
Sorry, sorry.
No, it's all good. She's the one telling us to go outside and play, and we're like, no, it's okay. And it's like, I don't want
Yep.
that. I want him to play outside, but trying to find that balance. So I think to answer your question, I think once he can start to not rely on devices as a way to cope with stress, and I don't even know how I can measure that at this point. It's I don't know, because TV could be a different thing, showing
Yeah.
TV, they're gonna watch TV. You can't
Yeah.
avoid it, but
Coco Melon on
Coco.
YouTube.
Did you see those TikToks?
No, I'm only aware of it because of PewDiePie.
uh it was like this TikTok videos. I don't watch TikTok, by the way. It was
I
a
only see what
re-upload.
people show me, so
It was a re-upload, but it was about how like they play the Coco Melon theme song and then kids start running from the other room.
yeah,
Whatever. But
that's funny. But is that addiction?
I don't know. I
But I mean, okay, but I think
I
I
don't
think we
know.
need to. So I okay, my hair's doing something weird. um, so here's a thought though, because I mean, we think about our parents, right? When we were kids and our parents gave us all the restrictions and stuff like that, and our thoughts are usually, well, you lived in a different era, like
Right.
the future is now.
Yeah.
Like we're in this in a different age, and so it's like what I would tell my mom is like you need to adapt to the times. Like things are different. Like we need to do things differently, right? So like whereas our parents like always played outside, always had to hang out, but they also had the freedom of meeting in the middle of a park or something like that and be fine.
Right.
Um, like you can't do that anymore. And I feel like people your age and my age were, I don't know why I say you're and my, like we're the same age, right?
Yeah.
But people around our age, we lived in a different time where we had both a little bit of technology, but we also got to um, have the outside life, like riding
That is
bikes.
true.
Like I remember going out to like out on the street and going like 2 streets down to like knock on my friend's door and see if he could come out to play, like calling him on the phone, um, and stuff like that. And I was like, 9 years old, 10 years old, and we were okay to do that. But my niece, who is now 10, I don't think I would let her just go out on her own and walk, a few blocks away to like hang out with friends. Like I think I would be too paranoid, and that's just
Yeah.
my niece,
Yeah.
right? Now with entertainment, um, technology is so advanced that that's the entertainment, right? It's like we have YouTube, we have TVs, computers, tablets, all of that
Yep.
that we didn't have back then. So how do we draw that line of the what they're doing today is what we did 20 years ago
Like
versus
that's
what
our
our
version of
parents
it.
did
Yeah, no,
40 years ago.
that's a
So
good
it's
point.
like uh I feel like it's hard, but I know that when I have kids, we need to figure out what is really okay, because just because it was like that when I was a kid doesn't mean it has to be for them when they're
No.
kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So we have to like adjust and adapt to the new ways. And so I know that that's kind of hard. So it's kind of like, okay, so we live in a technology age. So what is okay? Like we see the phone consumption as an addiction, but is it really an addiction, or is it just the new way and we just don't see it because we're becoming the old people?
That could be. Yeah, that's a good point. I
I
mean, yeah.
and so I mean I think I always think everything in moderation, right? So
Right.
I'm not gonna say just let them have the phone or let them have
Yeah.
the tablet or anything like
Yeah.
that. But it's kind of like, how do we maintain that fine line of this is okay for you to entertain yourself with versus like you're using this too much?
Yeah. And I think it
So
really all goes back to the parents. And because to address like the whole being outside, they can still do that, except you should probably be with them, monitoring them as they're Um, like now that you bring that up, like nowadays we can't do that because, you know, the world's more dangerous in the sense of like you have people that can kidnap and stuff.
Yeah.
But where were the parents then that could have been outside? It's like the same process of cell phone addiction or device addiction. Where were the parents like, controlling? My sense is that my my gut reaction would say that maybe parents that didn't want to spend time with their kids, they were like their version of, oh, just play with the iPad. It was like, oh, just go outside and play, you know. So it's like a, you know, parallel in that sense, but
Yeah.
it's the same principle of the parenting isn't there in that sense.
So you need to, or you as a parent, you need to make your presence known, that
Yes.
you're there for your kids, and
Yeah.
not just say, "Nah, just go outside, whatever,"
Right.
or "No, just get on your phone, whatever." But it's
Yeah.
like really be there with them.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Yeah, I
a
didn't
real.
think about. Yeah, no, that's good. You brought up some good points. That's good points.
My first thought to hear, Matt. Gosh dang it, this fucking microphone. Uh,
Oh man, yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. I try to look at it. I mean, I like to think of myself as a child, mentally still, and so I try to look at that point of view, and compare it to what I used to have before. And so I feel like that's what helps me. Like, okay, but hold on. Like, think about this for a second. Like, are we the good parents, or are we gonna be the bad parents? You know? Because I think when we were younger, when we were teenagers, and we think about having kids, we're always like, I'm gonna be the cool parent. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like my parents, but you're still gonna be a parent. And I think I think at some point your kids might also be like, when I'm older, I'm not gonna be like you. And I'm not saying that like in a mean way. I'm not saying that you're gonna be
Right.
a bad parent and they're gonna hate on you, but um, I just feel like that's something that we forget. That times change, people change, um, and there's an advancement in lifestyles, and and it just comes to like what I said before. I think we have to like adapt and figure out like how do we work better as parents, and how do we make it work for our kids so that they grow up to be the best person that they can be, uh while you maintaining like, dang it, I lost my train of thought. You get what I'm trying to say,
No, I do.
like how do you get them to be the best version that they can be?
Like it was no, you're right. I like the going back to that one guy. I just keep quoting him, but
Yeah, you got to send me that link.
I should. The whole idea of devices, like talking about he's talking about how like kids can easily find. I guess he made it like an anecdote about kids trying to find information for their projects, like school projects, and they would say no, just use the library. Um, and I was like, wait, why? I mean, the technology is there. It's a very efficient way to like get information. But then you think about how is that affecting their development in terms of like learning. I think part of learning is working hard, making your brain work. And so going to the library, searching for that book, searching, that like trains your brain, like exercises your brain. And then once they're ready, then it's like, hey, yes, you did the work. Now here's an easier way of doing it. Internet, whatever. But now I'm thinking of like, yeah, what are the things that it's not really when you're developing the child's brain. It's not even about, you know, giving them the best resources. It's like just exercising it as much as they can, making them do work so they can actually use their brain and exercise it. And I was like, whoa, that's because I was thinking, yeah, I'll introduce Google to them. You know, just go to YouTube.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, YouTube.
So I that's a really good point. And that's something that I think about all the time, because you know, this is the world of misinformation, and you can literally look up anything and you'll find, you know, 10 different sources, and eight of them are fake, right?
Yeah,
uh so having having the information so quickly at the tip of our fingers, I feel like that also kind of makes us a little bit lazy,
yeah,
because
yeah,
like there's parts where there's times when I, like, you know, like I want to get something, and I'm like, well, I can go, let's say I want to order something, right, or buy something. I can either go to the store, which requires exercise, uh, exercise. You know, 'cause you're getting up, you're walking. You know, that's what
Turning
I
the
mean.
key, you know.
Key? What key? You mean the button?
Oh, fancy.
No, but okay. So I can either choose to do that, or I can literally just come here, grab my phone, look it up, and click buy, and then I just wait for it for 2 days.
Yeah,
And I, I feel like sometimes going to the store, even though it's more time consuming, I feel like it's good for you. It takes away from the isolation of just like everything's right here.
that's
Because if we
true.
grow so accustomed to that, when technology fails, then you're going to be lost, right? So I feel like training your brain to be proactive in that sense, I feel like it's good for your logical senses, for your cognitive senses of problem solving. I think I hope I'm
No, no,
saying that
you're
right.
right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Um, and so that's a really good point. And even though we do have the technology and the instant information, I think it's still good to train our brains and train younger brains to do the work.
Yep.
You know, to find it, to work for it. Um,
It's like the weirdness of like they say like busy work, right? Like that's actually good because that's your brain like working.
yeah,
Like it's actually doing stuff. It's not like the more you just have things handed to you, then the less that you have. I feel like you're not as independent because now you have this. You're not a go getter in that sense because you're just like, oh, there's a convenience to do that. I mean, to go shopping though, grocery shopping. Maybe I think I like that better with the app and grocery pickup
wait,
because
okay, why?
when you go to the grocery store hungry, oh, you come out, you're buying so much
Okay,
stuff.
okay, but listen. Let me counter this, and I'll
All
tell
right.
you why I think shopping is better than either ordering or um, doing the pickup thing.
Yeah.
You're right. Being hungry, you buy a lot more than you should. I've done that multiple times. Um, but when you pick up vegetables and fruits, I don't really trust anybody else's. Um,
That's a good point.
uh,
Picking.
yeah, I don't like their picking over mine. I'd
Yes.
rather
Yes.
I'd rather it be me picking it. Um, and two, I'm I like doing things. I like moving around. And I remember, what was it? Like I was doing some like research on information on like how to like burn calories and whatnot, and how to exercise, how to get your body to like stay active.
Right.
And one of the suggestions was like, when you go to the bank, don't do the drive-through. Like
What?
literally park, get out, go in, come back, sit down. Because like the fact that you're like moving and getting out and stuff
Oh
like that,
yeah.
you're doing more than just sitting in your car.
Yeah.
And so I applied the same thing to grocery shopping. And I mean, I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite because I do shop online a lot, um, for easy stuff. But every now and then I do enjoy going to the store and just getting the one thing that I could have gotten online, except I would have to wait like 2 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I like the fact that I can go somewhere, I can get it right now, and it requires, in a sense, exercise, right? Um, so those are just a couple of reasons why I do like shopping.
No, that is a good point. This goes exactly with like the brain thing, like make him do busy work, whatever, to exercise the brain. It's like, yeah, when we go drive through, when we do grocery pickup, like we're not moving. Our bodies are staying in place. And
Yeah,
you're not
your
getting
job
that exercise.
your job is to just drive up, roll down the window, and it's kind of like, thanks,
Exactly, right?
bye.
And that
So
goes back, it's not a mental sense, mental development. It's more like physical, and you don't get that exercise. So that's a good point. Maybe once COVID is over, we'll probably start going to the grocery store again
yeah,
and then spending more money. I mean, I think for like Best Buy and Target and going to like electronic stores, like I was so sad when Fry's closed down. Like it's an experience to go to like into like Best Buy or something, you know?
Wait, Best Buy's still open.
I'm talking about Fry's, but like when you go to
Oh,
Best Buy, it's like an experience when you go in there, even though
there's
you're
just
not buying something. But
there's something about just like being there and seeing things and being able to touch them than you to get from a picture.
yeah,
Also, there's a lot of scamming going on online.
yeah,
Have you not seen the people that bought a what did they buy? It's something it is piece of technology and it was like expensive. And
thermos. Was that
no, I
the
don't.
blood test thing?
No, 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 no. It was like a drone, I think. So they order a drone online. They paid like not full price, but like close to it, and then they get it, and it's the cardboard. So
Like the box?
yeah, basically. So like what they see on the ad is true.
Yeah.
They did get that, but they're not specifying, hey, you're not getting the item, you're getting the
Oh
box
yeah,
or the package
that's.
only. And so people are getting scammed like that.
I mean, if you're not reading the descriptions, but I
Yeah,
know I yeah.
read the description.
Oh man. But yeah, no, that's good points. I mean, that's one of the big things I fear about is raising our kids is like that development
Technology.
aspect. So
I think you'll do good, and I think you've done your homework, and I have faith in you. I think you'll
thanks.
be a good dad.
Yeah. Well, um, glad you guys joined us today. Thanks for your
Yeah.
participation.
How many people do we have live right now?
We have about four, which is great.
Very nice.
I will
Very,
take
very
that.
nice. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Supporting us. Yep.
Means a lot to
If
us.
you feel free to comment if you have any additional questions or anything you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments. If you like what you hear and what we talk about, feel free to subscribe. Um, yes, that too.
Right now. Just do
Please.
it. Please. Please. Hit the like button, please.
And
Also, tell
oh,
your friends. Tell your friends
yes,
about it.
yes,
If you think there's some information or thoughts that you'd like to share, let them know that we are here on YouTube, and you can also find us on Spotify.
yes.
Um, I think the link will be in the description below. Are we
I have
doing
to.
that?
Yeah, I put it
You do
in.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All
All
right,
right.
that's it.
Take
Thank you
care,
so
guys.
much.